Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Golden Globe winner predictions. This is probably going to be a pretty short video. I just want to air out some of the thoughts that I'm having on the eve of Golden Globes night. Starting with Best Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. This is such a stupid category, and I think Wicked's going to win this, and it's going to be exactly the same as last year when Barbie won. Here we have a movie that's very, very, very popular that, technically speaking, could be in conversation to win Best Picture Comedy Musical, but because this category exists, it's very easy to be like, no, you know what? We'll just give it this other award, this made-up award, this participation trophy award. I screwed up that word, I'm sorry. But they screwed up this award, so yeah, Wicked's gonna win this. Dune is not here, apparently because they just forgot to submit it, which goes to show like how little the industry as a whole cares about this award. This is such a stupid thing, but it's probably going to stay. They're not going to get rid of it because the rest of us don't like it. They're going to keep this on as a thing just because it's an easy way to give the popular movie an award. Okay, next up is international feature, a non-English language film, and this is going to be Emilia Perez. I know that the regional awards, the Critics Awards, like All We Imagine Is Light and See the Sacred Fig more, but Emilia Perez, don't overthink it. It's got 10 nominations. It's not going to lose this award. Animated feature. There was a time where people thought that Inside Out 2 could make a play for this and the Oscar, but looking at the Critics Awards, Inside Out 2 has not won anything, and it's actually really close between Wild Robot and Flow. And I didn't mention this before, but I remember being a little bit confused when I saw that Wild Robot wasn't getting a ton of critics' mentions for picture and screenplay after Spider-Verse did so well with the Critics Awards last year. And now, having seen Flow, I realized that, these two movies are very similar. They're covering similar themes. One is a little bit more commercial and the other is a little more art house, but they both conveying similar ideas, which is why it might be difficult for voters to choose between one or the other, which is why they're both kind of competing for the animated feature award, and also why neither one is able to gain ground in terms of Best Picture. Now, with that said, I do think the Golden Globe is more likely to go to Wild Robot, but there is a world where they shock everybody and they give it to Flow, just like last year where they got the ball rolling on Boy and the Heron. If Flow ends up being legitimately competitive for the Oscar, then that train would have to start here at the Globes, but I'm not going to be bold and predict that to happen. I do think Wild Robot will win the Globe. So next up is Best Original Song. So this is going to be one of the two Emilia Perez songs, and I've seen some people be like, oh, maybe votes could split, maybe it could go to something else, but I don't think any of the other four nominees have what it takes. Oddly enough, Beautiful That Way and the song from Forbidden Road, Forbidden Road from Better Man, either one of those could be a benefactor of, oh, this is not on the Oscar shortlist, let's show the Oscars they were wrong and give this the win. But honestly, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's very likely. I really do think it's going to be one of the two Emilia Perez songs. And I made a whole video talking about Best Song. I think Al Mal is the real showstopper of that movie. I wouldn't be shocked if it was Mi Camino, but I think Al Mal is the more likely one, and that's the one I'm going with. Best Score. So I have The Brutalist winning here. And I understand that there's some debate. Some people like the Challengers score a little bit more, and that could potentially, if Challengers is going to be the front runner going into Oscar season, that would have to start here, but I don't know if Challengers is going to be in the Best Picture conversation. And it's very hard to win score if you're not in picture. Although, speaking of which, Wild Robot really should be the score that's sweeping this year, and it's frustrating that it hasn't won that many critics awards. I'm just going to say Brutalist. If something crazy happens, I think that would be a welcome surprise. I like the Brutalist score, but I like the Wild Robot and Challenger score a little bit more. So we'll see if anything happens, but right now I am predicting the Brutalist. Best Screenplay. So this is interesting because unlike the Oscars, there's only one screenplay category. And on the one hand, you have Anora, which is widely predicted to win Original Screenplay at the Oscars. And you also have Conclave, which is widely predicted to win Adapted. And initially, I was going to go Anora. But the more I thought about it, when you look at the kinds of screenplays that the Globes tend to prefer, it is the more dialogue-y, complex, wordy screenplays, which Anora really is not, and Conclave really is. And I don't really think that Conclave is going to win anything else at the Globes, so I do, spoiler alert, so it would make a lot of sense to me if they spread the wealth and the screenplay category is what they give to Conclave. Best Supporting Actor. Okay, so this one is actually close, I think, between Kieran Culkin and Guy Pearce. Now, the Critics' Awards have pretty unanimously gone with Culkin. However, recently it's starting to look like A Real Pain is not secure for Best Picture, and so people are hesitant to say, is Culkin gonna come along with that? Is Culkin gonna sweep if the movie is not in picture? And I think there is a very real possibility that Guy Pearce wins. Even though Culkin has been winning everything, sometimes the Golden Globes like to say, oh, we know what the Critics' Awards are doing, but here's what we're going to do. And if you remember back in 2017, both of these supporting acting awards, the critics were unanimous that Willem Dafoe and Laurie Metcalf were winning, and then the Golden Globes were like, actually, what about Sam Rockwell and Allison Janney? And then the rest of the televised awards just followed their lead. So there is a possibility that Guy Pearce does that. His movie is more of a contender in picture. And also Pearce has been around a lot longer. But I would personally give the edge to Culkin. I think at this point he's very well loved coming right off of Succession, and that performance is getting a lot of people talking. But it could very easily be Pearce. As of right now, I'm going to have Culkin in. Supporting Actress. Okay, this is actually really, really tight. It's either going to be Ariana Grande or Zoe Saldana. And going back and forth, the old Globes would definitely do Grande. The old Globes would not pass up the opportunity to give it to a pop star like her. But the more I think about it, I think that Emilia Perez is just so loved, got the most nominations. I think the Globes are really going to want to give it stuff. And I think if you look at the Critics' Awards, Zoe Saldana in Supporting Actress is the one aspect where critics really do go to bat for the film. So I think it would make a certain amount of sense to have that performance come out on top ultimately. I think it's going to be very close between her and Grande, but ultimately I see Saldana winning. Now, Best Actor in a Comedy Musical. This one's really tricky because none of these are super big contenders for the Oscar, and there's sort of a question about which one of them has the most likely shot at getting in. And after thinking about it for a while, I'm going to go with Hugh Grant. So Hugh Grant, he got in at Critics' Choice, which was a very big deal for him, and I think he's very likely going to get in at BAFTA. Now, I get that the movie is a horror movie, and the Oscars are already rewarding the substance, and are we really going to have a second horror movie contending for acting awards? But I think Hugh Grant is just someone who's been in the industry for a long time, and looking at the performances that are in this category specifically, I don't know if I really buy the idea of Jesse Eisenberg winning, especially when A Real Pain is looking weaker. And some people are saying maybe Glenn Powell. Maybe Sebastian Stan. I mean, it's possible, but I just think objectively when I look at it, when I think who gives the biggest, showiest performance, the answer is Hugh Grant. And I think Hugh Grant, if he wins and he gives a very memorable speech, that could really help boost his chances for the potential Oscar nomination. Whether or not he gets it, I don't know, but I think he would have to get it in order to be in real contention for the Oscar. Best Actor in a Drama, this one's tight. It's either Adrian Brody or Timothée Chalamet. And I see the arguments for both of them. But I'm going to go with Brody. I think Brody's performance is more showy. And I think the new international voters are going to be on Brody's side. I think what he does is just very... I don't know. I've listened to a lot of podcasts about it, and people say it could be either one of them. And Chalamet would make sense, and I could definitely see the old Globes doing that. But I feel like these new Globes are so new and so international, and they're going to go with the critical choice more often than not. So I do have Brody winning. Best Actress, I'm actually going to talk about Best Actress Drama first, because it's a little bit inverted this year. All of the real Best Actor contenders are in drama, but all of the real Best Actress contenders are in comedy. And looking at the Best Actress Drama contenders, Marianne Jean-Baptiste is not here, and she's the one out of all of them that has been getting the most love from the critics. And I'm recording this right after the BAFTA long list dropped, and it was a very, very big deal that neither Angelina Jolie nor Fernanda Torres showed up here. And that, I think, is really, really damaging to both actresses' campaigns. And so, I don't know. I think both Jolie and Torres would really need to win this in order to stay in the conversation. There's an argument to be made that whoever wins this category is going to be the one making a run for that 5th slot at the Oscars. I went back and forth on this a lot. Ultimately, I think I'm going to go with Nicole Kidman. They gave her the win a couple years ago for being the Ricardos. I think she's one of the few people who is on this list and the BAFTA long list. To me, it would just make sense. If Marianne Jean-Baptiste were here, I would be predicting her. But as of right now, there's not... I think any of them could potentially win, but Kidman, I think, makes the strongest argument. It could be Jolie. It could even be Torres. But I'm going to go with Kidman. And then we have Best Actress in a Comedy and Musical. And this is the one that I just went back and forth on forever. Because here's the thing. It's not going to be Zendaya or Amy Adams. You could feasibly make an argument for Cynthia Erivo. I thought about it at one point, but ultimately I don't think I'm going to go with her because I think the top 3 are so competitive. Mikey Madison, Demi Moore, Carla Sofia Gascon. I wish one of them were in Best Actress Drama so that she could easily win. But, okay, here's where I'm at with this category. Mikey Madison has the most critics wins by far. Madison actually has more critics wins than Kieran Culkin does. So, I should be predicting her. She's definitely the safe choice. Demi Moore, I mean, she has the most narrative behind her, you can argue. Moore, of the 3, is the one who's the most known. She's the one who voters are going to really... They have a history with her. I mean, Demi Moore's been nominated for a Golden Globe multiple times. So it would make a certain degree of sense for Moore to be the recipient. Also, The Substance, that movie's got 5 nominations, and I don't think it's likely to win in the other 4 categories. So this would be the one place to reward that movie. And then there's Carla Sofia Gascon, who really hasn't won that much in terms of critics' guilds. But she is a part of the movie that the Golden Globes clearly loved and that the BAFTA long list clearly loved. And I do think a lot of people are maybe not ready for just how big Emilia Perez is going to be this award season. And so I thought about this. I could see Demi Moore because she's Hollywood royalty and she has this great legacy behind her, and it would be a great speech and a great moment. Mikey Madison, she's the safe choice. I mean, I was sitting here ready to record this, still mulling over this choice, because I'm like, The thing is, I'm biased because I've said in the past I didn't like Anora. And I don't want to be just so dumb that I'm not cluing in that Madison is the obvious frontrunner and Madison is what everyone else is going for. But Carlos Sofia Gascon, if you love the movie, and clearly voters love the movie, she's at the center of it. And it's her story, because I think about why Emilia Perez is really hitting right now, and I think a big part of it is what's going on in this country regarding the trans community and how the trans community is being unfairly prosecuted. And what a moment it would be to see Gascon get on that stage and deliver a speech. If you're gonna get behind the movie, if you think the movie's winning Best Picture Comedy Musical, it's right there. And I went back and forth, and I was prepared when I started recording to be like, but I'm gonna go with Madison because that's the safe choice. But you know what? The more I think about it, something shocking happens at the Golden Globes every year. Something happens that people aren't expecting. And you gotta do it. You gotta have a no guts, no glory. You gotta just make bold choices. My New Year's resolution this year is actually make bold choices, not safe ones. And this is a prime example of that. So this is probably not going to happen if you're making predictions at home. Mikey Madison is certainly the safe choice. But you know what? I'm going to be bold. I'm going to go out there. I am going to predict that Carlos Sofia Gascon wins the Globe, and it's this incredible moment. Okay, so I don't know how to continue the video after that. Just 3 more categories. Best Director, I think, is going to be Brady Corbet. I don't know if they... I know I just said Gascon to go along with Emilia Perez, but I don't think... I think Brady Corbet is just going to sweep everything because he's been sweeping all the Critics' Awards. See, I sound so hypocritical, don't I? But I just think that achievement is too big to ignore. I think Corbet's going to win. I think Best Picture Comedy is going to go to Emilia Perez. And I think Best Picture Drama is going to go to The Brutalist. Now, there's conversations that can be had. There's conversations that have been had over various podcasts. Because it could also be Conclave for drama, and it could also be Anora for comedy. And the substance for Best Picture Comedy is not impossible if the Golden Globes really want to do something crazy. But the more I thought about it, Conclave is a movie that everyone likes, but I don't know how many people are truly passionate about it. And The Brutalist just feels like such a safe... This is like Power of the Dog. I don't know if it's going to do exactly what Power of the Dog did, but it just feels like, oh, this is the cinematic achievement that everyone really respects, and I think the Globes are going to go for it. Conclave is possible, but my gut is telling me The Brutalist will win Picture Drama. And for Best Picture Comedy, I'm biased, I know. The thing is, as much as I dislike Anora to the same extent that a lot of other people seem to dislike Emilia Perez, and it's a whole thing, and I'm biased, but I'm telling you, there is very real passion for Emilia Perez that a lot of people are unprepared for because they're just looking at film Twitter and regional critics. But the industry, and especially the non-American voters, are showing they are really, really passionate about this thing. So I think Emilia Perez is going to go far. I think it's going to take Best Picture Comedy Musical, and it's going to bring Carlos Sofia Gascon along with it. Fingers crossed. So that is my bold prediction. Tomorrow, let's see if I'm right.